I'm calling to order the June meeting of the Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Arts Committee. We're going to start with a moment of reflection. Amen. Bring an end to that. So we're going to amend the agenda slightly because we don't have anyone, something came up for the person who was going to present the park name change item. And we're going to just delay our discussion of the SLOSS ordinance. Oh no, he's walking in. So let me just ask if he's ready. Are you pretty ready to start? Okay, so we'll start with item number 2. We're going to have a discussion of some proposed amendments or issues with the SLOSS ordinance. Sometimes we have ordinances on the books that should govern the way some of our boards are operating, and they get a little out of sync over time. I'm sure the instances of this are countless, but Hunter Williams is an active member of the SLOSS Historic Landmark Board, and he is going to just lead us in a discussion of some of the issues that he's observed as it relates to the current operation versus, what's in the ordinance. So I'm going to just turn it over to Hunter to lead us through a discussion of this current situation. And Karen Utz, who's the director, is present. If we have any questions or if you want to engage Karen.
Do we have anybody from the board? No. Okay. Okay.
I have a copy of it in front of me.
Okay, I gotcha. All right, thank you, Madam Chairwoman. One thing that we need to do with this board is we need to clarify its incorporating language, which is Section 25151, Article K of our City Code. This one thing that we're having an issue with.
Tell me where you are, because Article K.
Well, it's the whole.
What page?
It's the whole.
It's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So before we specifically get through items, the overall goal here is to allow board members to serve, current board members to continue to serve on this board. One thing that is specific to this board and actually several of our boards is there are term limits on there, and we feel that if the individual has reached a term limit, but the council is willing to vote them in, then they should have the ability to continue to serve on that board. The SLOSS board, just like several of our boards, is one that when we have good people that are passionate about it, we want them to serve. They're volunteers, they're doing this out of their own, out of their own charitable, free spirit and willingness to serve on the City of Birmingham, one of our boards. And so we want to make sure if we do have people that are willing to give their time and resources that they're allowed to do so. So there's the changes to this mainly are on the second page of this ordinance, in green and in blue. And really all it does is allow for what I've said to occur. It also speaks to the point where if we do not have members submitted to the council, then the council will be able to submit membership and for approval.
Okay. And just to distinguish, this is the SLOSS Historic Landmark Board, correct? Because
yes.
the foundation board is a separate entity.
Correct. Now we've changed, the city ordinance says this is called the SLOSS Furnaces Board. That apparently has changed over time to the National Landmark Board.
So should that update happen as well?
We can.
Yeah. Okay, so one proposed change, because we're not voting on anything today, we're just discussing it and trying to understand what some of the issues are, but updating the name would be
Yeah.
one. Okay,
And it should read Sloss Furnaces, it is plural.
okay. There's more than one furnace.
I know, only I, as, you know, a historian would notice that, but it is National Historic Landmark is the,
Okay, and may I just ask, is the foundation board an entity of the city? Did the city create the foundation board, or was it created privately as like a friends group?
started out as the Sloss Furnace Association Friends Group.
Okay, so it's not a board and agency that's affiliated with the city or that the city
No, it's not.
supports. It's a private
But
foundation.
there is somebody that is to serve on the board. I believe 2 or 3.
Ex officio or something. Okay, that's fine. We'll just put that in the parking lot for now. I just wanted to make sure.
It's a confusing board, I do understand that.
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. It's an open discussion. Moving on to the next page. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Speaking to members having 3 consecutive terms, the addition is unless approval and confirmation by the council, which will allow members that have already served 3-year terms, or more than 3 consecutive terms, to continue to serve if the council confirms. The next edit just specifies it does not apply to the ex officio members. The ex officio members are the director of finance and or his appointee, or as well as a member of the council. The next edit, I think, was something that was done was more of a clarification from the law department. I think it means the same thing, but it just allows the council to have a designee in the person's absence, which is what the ordinance allows for the director of finance to do.
That's item C.
Correct. Item 3, below that, states that the advisory members must be confirmed by the council, the same as any regular member.
So these members have a 1-year term.
I don't believe,
So-
do we have any advisory members even at this point? I don't think that there are any. Yeah.
Okay, so Director Utz, how many board members are currently appointed to this board?
20.
20.
And I would like to reference F. What is the accountability for members who, let's say, have been on this board for 20 years, let's say, and have not attend meetings?
So the accountability
Once
is
this
with,
is passed, how will the accountability, will there be a roll call? I mean, how will we be accountable?
the accountability is the same as it is currently. It lies within the board to hold,
To hold people
to self,
accountable?
yeah, to hold
Okay.
itself
Yeah.
accountable. So it would be the president and leadership of the board.
Yeah, and I would think that you have bylaws in addition to this ordinance, correct? And so those bylaws should, you can amend them if you don't have language in to have an attendance requirement or something that you could govern from and deal with a way to remove the members who are not active. But I would think that would be something for your board to do as opposed to you.
Yeah, well, the
As-
council definitely
Yes,
doesn't
that-
want
that
to
probably
put our
would.
hands in that. Yeah.
I'll just go back and say, well, they, no,
Something to think about.
All right. I think, was that all of them? Yeah, so there's not a lot of changes.
So one thing that strikes me is that typically an odd number of board members is recommended, and you have 20 presently, and this allows you to have up to 22, and maybe we
It does
should...
allow us to have it up to 22, and I may not be including Alabama Power, and let me go back and...
Okay, but you have a
That
minimum?
would be 22.
A minimum?
We do have up to 22.
Okay.
Is that including that considered from the city?
No.
So it's 22,
Okay, whose point is it up to, and I don't mean to sound ignorant, but how many, who's responsible? I know you often have attended SSU. How does that happen? How's that, is it up to the board to choose? That tells
No,
well,
it's outlined.
sometimes the council member is by virtue of committee assignment, and sometimes and I'll let Jeff address it, because sometimes the president decides.
I
But
was just interested because I've been curator for a very long time, and I just now started attending since I became interim director. But I've never known of any. But I mean, and that would be a positive for the board if it did have an element,
connection,
a
yeah.
huge element of positive.
But that is outlined in the ordinance. Yeah.
What section is it?
Section 2-5-153.
Yeah. Right here.
Section 1.
Ex officio member shall.
Number 1.
One's the director of finance.
Ex officio
One is
maybe
that's also the Friends Association, and one is a member of the council.
committee.
But we're proposing to amend that, because that would mean I'd have to be on the board.
Do you want me?
No, that's fine. Yeah. All right, I think, let's see, are there any questions or further discussion of this item? Because we're not voting on these changes today. I'd like to ask on our behalf that Jeff sort of shepherd the conclusion of these, maybe making sure that your board chair is aware of these before we take any sort of vote, okay? So I understand someone from the law department has come who may have been involved with the draft or the amendments. Do you have, this is for the SLOSS ordinance. We weren't planning to vote on this language today. We just wanted to understand some of the issues and how they're proposing to be resolved. But we'd love to hear whatever you have to say about it.
Yes, Keith Sheffield, Office of the City Attorney. I did not work on this. A lot of our other necessary. That ex officio or regular member of the board is Yeah, and again, I'm not intimate with the revisions that Ms. Wright has looked at. And I'm just. Advisory members by council. That way, process is probably better left to changes in the individual bylaws rather than in the ordinance. Project or for that the board is needing. Require them to be confirmed by council.
Well, and we are just kind of discussing these ideas just to talk about other standards and models, and we just happen to have Graham here from the Museum of Art. You don't have to stand up, but I did serve a one-year term on his advisory committee, and I had to be confirmed by the city council, so I think we do have some that would, I mean, you know, this would actually conform to the Museum of Art's. No?
Councilor Clark, if you don't mind.
No, come on. We're discussing.
We are permitted per the 1951 ordinance establishing the museum to have annual members and 6-year members. You were actually a voting member.
Oh, I was just an annual member.
Not eligible for renewal after a single year. We currently do not have an advisory board. That was
I see.
disbanded just prior to the pandemic because it wasn't doing any actual advising at that time, and will be reconstituted shortly.
Okay, so you do have, your ordinance does permit for an advisory committee, but it's something that your board would appoint, or you and your board would appoint at your will without it coming to the city council?
Right. The advisory board does not require council approval.
Okay.
By all regular and annual members of the voting board.
Okay, and I appreciate that clarification so that now I know what I was. and we have the distinction of a standard with relation to advisory boards that may be enacted from time to time to serve some ad hoc purpose, but them not really rising to the level of needing council approval. I mean, we're just living and learning here, I think. Okay. All right.
Generalized comment is the bylaws. There should be some sort of due process proceed. As 3 consecutive regular meetings. Process requirement, typically that.
Now, did you hear us discuss that earlier when we talked about the bylaws? Okay.
So you're saying we need to put that in the ordinance?
I don't think so. I think it's more properly addressed in the bylaws.
Okay.
But as long as there's a
So
component.
leave it as it is?
Yes, I haven't reviewed the bylaws, so I don't know, but I think I would suggest a due process prior to removal.
Right. So that question did come up. I'm not sure if you were here, but we did suggest that it would be something to deal with in the bylaws. Yeah.
Again, I apologize.
No, thank you for coming.
The revisions or what is suggested prior, but Ms. Wright is working on that. We can.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot your name. Sheffield. Attorney Sheffield, one other thing that came up that we need to address is that this board is now called the Sloss Furnaces Historic Landmark Board. And so that's not reflected in the ordinance, so we would also want to address that when we get the rewrite with Ms. Wright. And so you think we're pretty much, any other questions or comments regarding this item? We're going to ask that the council administrator work with the law department and the board, whoever the board chair or board president is, the SLOSS board, just to make sure we get a good draft of this to come back before the committee and the full council for adoption. Thank you. Okay, so now we're going to hear from the Birmingham Museum of Art. We're just checking in, asking Graham Betcher for an update. I was there recently for the the Klein Arts presentation, and so I met 2 new staff members, and I thought, I'm out of touch. I don't know what's going on at the museum anymore.
Well, Councilor Clark, thank you for this opportunity. Councilor Tate, very nice to see you. Appreciate always the chance to speak before council to talk about what's going on at the museum. As you know, organizations like ours, not just in this city but nationwide, were severely hit during the pandemic. We had to close our doors. I'll never forget the hour, 3:30 p.m. on Sunday, March 15th, 2020. And we did not reopen until October 6th. Museums thrive on people. We need our lifeblood. And so suddenly the people couldn't come to us. So we had to go to the people. And so I'm so proud of what our team has accomplished over the last 2 years. And I want to share with you a little bit about where we've been over these past 2 years of the pandemic and where we're heading now and in the future. If I could get let's go back to the first image, if you don't mind. I'm used to having the clicker. Thank you. I started with this image of the museum because it declares very loudly and proudly something that has been a core value of the museum since 1951, free admission. We do not want there to be a barrier to access to the museum, and as you know, in the first decades of its history, there were barriers to access by virtue of the Jim Crow laws that were in place in this city. But those are long past, and we don't want economics to be a barrier to admission for any of our visitors. And so we proudly declare art free for all. This same signage can be found in the Birmingham airport thanks to the generosity of one of our donors. Next image, please. The mission of the Birmingham Museum of Art is to spark the creativity, imagination, and liveliness of Birmingham by connecting all its people to the experience, meaning, and joy of art. We firmly believe that there is something for everyone under the large umbrella of 150,000 square feet that is the Birmingham Museum of Art. We recently published our impact report, looking closely at our last fiscal year. Our fiscal year runs from July 1 to June 30th. And during that period, last year, we welcomed 48,843 visitors. Pre-pandemic times, a regular year would look like 125,000 visitors for us. That was real progress, considering that we were closed for... Oh, sure.
Answer to the impact slide.
All right.
Thank you.
So we have in recent months experienced a pretty dramatic climb in attendance. And this is happening ever since we returned to in-person events earlier this year. So we are fully in person now. And we are at 75% of pre-pandemic levels. For example, in April April 2019, we had 9,478 visitors. April of this year, we had 7,101. So the numbers are climbing pretty quickly. We're leveraging all of our social media channels, though, to make people aware of what we're doing at the museum and to connect them with both in-person and ongoing virtual initiatives. And between March 17th, 2020, right after we closed our door, and May 13th, 2022, our online platform, BMA from Home, saw 570,000 virtual visitors. That's more than 3 times our regular visitation. So we've got fans all over the world now, but most importantly, a lot more fans right here in this community. So this page is directly from our impact report. For the fiscal year in question, we had 237,000 plus digital visits. We gained 94,000 social media followers on all of our platforms, Facebook and Instagram being the most significant among those for us. We had 82,000 plus in-person visitors. There are now 27,832 works of art in our permanent collection. To give you a sense of context, we are about half the size collection-wise of the New Orleans Museum of Art, which has been at this a lot longer than we have. And then the High Museum in Atlanta, I believe, last count, has about 17,000 works in its permanent. Considering the size of Birmingham compared to Atlanta, we have a museum with a collection much larger than one would expect, given our demographics, the size of the city. So very, very proud of that, and it's built through the generosity of this community. There is not, of those 27,000 works of art, I think there were only 2 works of art ever purchased with public funds. Yeah. We have a really magnificent platform that enables our visitors to use their smart devices, their handheld devices, to visit the museum and access videos and interviews with artists and music and additional information about the works of art. We had 15,800 visits to the Smart Guide platform. So we're trying to implement technology that helps us understand what our visitors look at, how long they spend, what types of information they want to access, and that will help us better serve the community when they come to the museum. When you're a free museum, it's difficult sometimes to gather data about your visitors because we don't have tickets that we sell at the front door. We rolled out the Smart Guide platform even before COVID. It was something we developed in-house. It's all shareable. We have shared it with some other institutions, most notably at one point we shared the technology with AVA, the Abrams Engel Institute for Visual Art at UAB. But it's a really pliable platform, and we've only added to it over the years, and so it just keeps growing, which is exciting because it is infinitely flexible in that regard. We have served 14,548 children. During the pandemic, when the museum was closed, obviously we couldn't allow people through our doors, but we went to them. We did virtual engagement. We provided a platform called Culture Bridge, which included curriculum and art activities for educators, not just in Birmingham, not just in Jefferson County, but throughout the state and the nation. It has had hits from dozens of countries at this point. I wish I could remember the exact number, but it's serving as a resource for educators at a much needed time. We have 1,779 member households. We have provided 101 digital learning resources over the past year. to the community. We have done 15 exhibitions, initially virtual exhibitions, then when we reopened our doors, in-person exhibitions, and one all under one museum. Next image, please. Speaking of exhibitions, I'd like to give you a taste of some of our current and future offerings. An exhibition that we opened on March 19th showcases the work of Manjari Sharma, an Indian-born artist working in the United States. She did a series of photographs depicting the 9 major deities of Hinduism. As you are aware, we have a very large South Indian community or South Asian community in Birmingham, which has embraced the museum as its cultural hub. We have a very robust Indian Cultural Society who've been a great support to the institution over the years. When this exhibition opened in March of this year, that weekend we had, I believe, just over 3,000 visitors. It coincided with it coincided with Holi, our cultural heritage festival, of which we have 4 separate family festivals each year. Next image, please. A current exhibition which we were always also very excited about. We like to encourage the youngest artists among us, and we opened the Green Book Student Exhibition on May 26th, and it will run through June 20th. And local students participated in a 9-week arts integration residency, and they conducted research on Birmingham's civil rights history and used their knowledge to inform original creative works around the Green Book. And so this was in collaboration with the Bush Hills STEAM Academy, the Greater Birmingham Arts Education Collaborative, and the Jefferson County Memorial Project, of which the Birmingham Museum of Art is a formal collaborator and partner. Next image, please.
And I just want to say about the Green Book exhibit is that these kids are exploring places that make them feel safe. And that's so critical in this time when, safe havens can be few and far between in our neighborhoods. But anyway.
So true. And one of the things that we aspire to is for every person in Birmingham to consider the Birmingham Art a safe place. The exhibition that just opened in time for the World Games, which is coming up very, very soon, is Ways of Seeing Sports and Games. This will be up for an entire year. And so, because there's so much interest in sports in this community, I think I found that out right away when I moved to Alabama 16 years ago. So we thought we would lean in and embrace that. It explores every sport you can imagine through art, baseball, football, soccer, and a lot of games, from cards to dominoes to checkers, you name it, it's included.
Are these works from your permanent collection?
They are all works from the permanent collection, with just a handful of loans from local artists and collectors. For example, there's a very famous painter of Alabama football subjects, Steve Skipper, and we borrowed one of his works, and that's the first work you'll see, about the life and career of Bart Starr, right, when you come through. Next image. We're doing a lot of programming around this exhibition, and some of the dates, unfortunately, right after I sent this PowerPoint to Carmen, we had a meeting. We have learned recently that we may have to reschedule a few things because the Birmingham Museum of Art is within the secure area for the World Games, and we want to make sure, again, thinking about access, that people are able to access really important programs that we've worked a long time on. So this can all be worked out. So there may be some slight date changes to pivot, but we will hear from Michelle Clemon, who is an attorney and instructor of sports history at UAB and sports law at the University of Florida, and she will talk about athletes and activism, and I think that will be a particularly well-attended event. Next image, please. We are also working with an internationally known artist named Rico Gatson to create murals in the lobby of the museum. This is part of an ongoing series called Wall to Wall, sponsored by PNC, which has been an incredible partner to the museum ever since they entered the Alabama market. The original concept, we only have conceptual images at this point, and the work will be created through crowd participation at Art on the Rocks. But he explored a lot of different subjects that had an impact on Birmingham and the world. He thought about Martin Luther King Jr., certainly. He thought about Sun Ra, but ultimately he decided to focus this work as an homage to the Reverend Fred Shuttlesworth. Next image, please. And so in conjunction with the exhibition, we will have a panel discussion entitled Illuminating Shuttlesworth. Reverend Shuttlesworth's daughters, Dr. Carolyn Shuttlesworth and Mrs. Ruby Shuttlesworth Bester, will be the museum's guests. They will be coming to Birmingham to participate both in the creation of this mural and sort of the dedication of it to their father's memory. And we will also be hosting members of the Bethel Baptist Church for a reception, community-wide reception at the museum. And the panel discussion, Martha Boyer, from the educational coordinator from Bethel Baptist Church, will be in conversation with the artist Rico Gatson and Siddhartha Mitter, who is an arts critic for the New York Times.
So is this one of the events potentially impacted by the World Games?
Yes.
And the lecture on activism?
Sorry for interrupting.
Okay, no. And the lecture as well. Those will be rescheduled?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So we're just looking for an optimal date now when everyone can be there. But we think this is so critical to our community that we want to make sure that everyone will be able to get there and park on the lot.
I just want to make sure I don't add this to my calendar.
Yes, no, I would have stricken the dates, but the meeting was right after I pressed send on the email with the PowerPoint. So I'll provide an update, though.
Yeah, and just for members of the public who may be seeing this through the live stream, these events will happen, but these dates are now to be changed till after the World Games.
Thank you. Next image, one event, though, that is set in stone and is going on this week. I'm very excited about Magic City Fashion Week Season 4. Magic City Fashion Week was founded in 2017. We're extremely proud to be an official partner and host with Magic City Fashion Week. And go to our website, www.artsbma.org for a full schedule of events. There's far too much going on to drop it into this PowerPoint, but it's going to be a really exciting time. Next image, please. The creation of the Shuttlesworth mural by the artist Rico Gatson, we hope, will be tied to Art on the Rocks. It is meant to be a crowd participation event where people attending can help Rico paint the mural. We are bringing back Art on the Rocks, date to be determined, and look forward to welcoming everyone in. As you know, that event typically draws several thousand people in one evening, so we want to really look forward to that. I also wanted to share with you some recent acquisitions. I guess now, close to 2 years ago with the pandemic. The timing gets a little hazy, but I believe we were in the pandemic when our curatorial team presented a 5-year strategic plan for the permanent collection to our board, which the board adopted. And the strategic plan for the permanent collection really focuses on bringing new voices into the collection, voices that have been in the past underrepresented in museums like ours. As you may know, I've already referred to the Birmingham Museum of Art was founded in an era of exclusion, and that defined, unfortunately, its early collecting history. Although the museum was founded in 1951, it was not until 1971 that the first work by an African American artist came into our collection. Certainly in my time at the museum, 16 years, and long before that, under the tenure of my predecessor, Gail Andrews, that has changed tremendously, and I can now proudly boast that we have one of the most significant collections of African American art in the world. We are receiving loan requests from places far and wide. We just got a loan request from the the Royal Academy in England to borrow our Kerry James Marshall painting, School of Beauty, School of Culture. Hasn't yet gone before the board, so we'll see, but it's an exciting prospect. But if I could just get the next image, I'll share with you a few recent acquisitions. This is a work that we purchased just about a year ago by a DC-based artist named John Robinson. John Robinson worked with the Washington Color School. Most of the artists in the Washington Color School were abstractionists. He was one of the lone realists. And this painting immediately caught our attention. It is a beautiful portrait of his wife in a quiet moment, reading a magazine, lying on her bed. The responses that we've had from visitors, people feel very familiar with this image. People say, "Oh, my grandmother had a blanket like that," or or we had curtains like that. They look at the details. I invite you to come and see this painting in person. The technique is absolutely exquisite, and you could feel almost like you could touch the blanket and feel its softness. Don't touch the paintings, please, but it looks as if you could. Next image, please. An artist whom we've long wanted in the museum's permanent collection is Hale Woodruff. I don't think I need to go into a long explanation of Hale Woodruff. Just drive to Talladega College and see his magnificent murals previously in Savory Library, now in a dedicated museum. We were fortunate, thanks to a gentleman who has Hale Woodruff's remaining estate. We were offered this exquisite painting, Torso, from about 1970, which we were able to acquire with funds donated by the estate of Beth Hansen. Next image. We are in very good company. You will see that the most comparable image of this images from this series are in museums like the Museum of Modern Art, New York, the Metropolitan Museum of Art, and the Studio Museum in Harlem. So this is among his most significant late work, and thrilled to put this out on view for the enjoyment of the public. Next image, please. So Hale Woodruff, of course, well known to us here in Alabama because of the Amistad murals at Talladega. An artist equally well known to us, one of our own, from nearby Bessemer, Thornton Dial. Thornton Dial has become one of the most significant artistic voices in this country and around the world. His work can be found in collections from coast to coast and all points in between. We have been collecting Thornton Dial's work since the early 90s. I think we were one of the first American museums to acquire his work, but what eluded us was a major oil on canvas, something that could be out constantly. He used a lot of unconventional materials in his work, and sometimes we have to be sensitive to humidity and light conditions, and we have to rotate them. This is an anchor for our collection, though. It's a massive painting, 68 by 102 inches, so that's a big one, and it explores one of his most common themes. He included a lot of tigers, which he usually referred to as jungle cats, in his work, and this will go up just within a matter of the next month or two. It was a very recent acquisition. Next, please. Most recent acquisition, only approved as of about a week ago, was this work made by Sam Levi Jones, who played college college football. This is made of deconstructed footballs. I would be lying if I said this acquisition wasn't timed to coincide with ways of seeing sports and games. But the title Flores, next image please, refers to a recent scandal when the NFL coach Brian Flores was not given a fair chance at a new job. And so there has been a lot of conversation about hiring practices, unfair hiring practices around race in the NFL, and this was the artist's commentary on that. He himself played football in college, felt like he was discriminated against as a black player, and each of the footballs that he deconstructs is actually they're rubbed in the earth on the very field where he played football himself. There's meaning in the material. Last image, please, and thank you for indulging me. There's a lot to share. Wanted to share some news. We had a few departures in our learning and engagement department for various reasons, not really as a result of the great resignation that other institutions are experiencing, but for different reasons. And so we set out to fill those positions, and I'm pleased to share with you two recent hires. Lydia Walker on the left, who serves as manager of school and community programs. Lydia has been part of the museum family for a very long time. She was our Miles College intern and organized Miles College Night when she was an undergrad, and she has stayed with us as a part-time employee in our learning and engagement department. She holds the distinction of organizing the best attended Art After 5 event ever, which was themed, it was called A Night in Wakanda. It was the Black Panther theme, Art After 5. So thrilled to have her join us as a full-time team member. And on the right, Dr. Michelle Dacus-Carr, manager of gallery learning. She will be leading our new teaching fellow program, wherein we'll be bringing college students, initially starting with pilot program with Miles College, teaching fellows in to lead tours throughout our galleries as paid employees of the museum. She comes to us after a long career at Alabama State University, where she was an associate professor for 25 years. So thrilled to have all of this talent on our team. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Well, thank you, Graham, for this really thorough update, because I know we weren't very specific. We just wanted to check in, and this was a great check-in. I also noticed that Kerry Fountain gave himself a title. I mean, I don't know if you gave it to him or if he gave it to himself, but he introduced himself as affiliated with the museum. So what's his role?
So Kerry, actually, I didn't go that far back. Kerry the paperwork was in place, I think, 2 weeks before the pandemic started. His first day as manager of public programs was while we were in lockdown. So it was several months before Kerry actually met a lot of his colleagues in person. So he's been with us the past couple of years as our manager of public programs. So all of the fabulous public programs I just shared with you, that's Kerry's talent coming to bear upon the institution. We're thrilled to have him as part of our team.
Well, and I want to applaud you on the way you've, I mean, I can remember when Toby was like the only black employee of the museum that wasn't a security guard. I mean, just for real. So this is you brought it a long way, and I think, you know, part of serving the whole community is people feeling welcome and like it's for them, you know, and so I think you know, the additions to the education department, and you know, I know it's taken some time to get back engaged with the community, and I don't think the Children's Museum is not reopened yet, is it?
Not yet. We've got one position remaining to be filled. It's on our website, so if y'all know of any folks looking, but it is the person who will lead the initiatives with the children, which includes running Bart's Art Venture and managing that space. So a critical role, and soon to be filled.
Well, thank you for your work leading the museum, and I don't know if my colleague has any questions but yeah, and I would love to go deeper into like who thought of the, you mentioned the Wakanda party. I'm like, who thought of the Sun Ra party? But anyway, I missed it.
Carrie, and he collaborates with our communications director, Kate Bohm, and they seem to have their finger on the pulse of pop culture. But,
okay, good.
And then we try to listen to the community and take suggestions. So.
Yeah, I'm like, they're having a party on Afrofuturism. I'm like, go Graham, okay.
NRA's where it's at.
Well, space is the place. Well, thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate the opportunity.
Okay. All right, well, that was fun. And now we're going to have Toby to come up and tell us what's going on at Arlington House. Okay. Yeah, Kim is going to Cody's. Okay. Well, thank you, Toby. I know I've enjoyed coming to Arlington really for the first time in my life since you've been the director, even though I've known about it forever and I've driven past it forever. It's another one of those places that...
It's a hidden gem.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
It's a hidden gem. It's a good...
Our slides pulled up. I just want to say thank you. I'm so excited to be here today. Thank you for the invitation to get a chance to showcase what we're doing at Arlington. Okay. So to the members of the council, thank you for your invitation to today's meeting. Good afternoon. My name is Toby Richards, and I serve the City of Birmingham as Executive Director at Arlington Historic House and Gardens. Next image, please. This presentation will discuss Arlington's vision, direction, and updates. You will find here on our identity that Arlington, we will continue to evolve. Our goal is to thrive in our community as an engaging, accessible, and inclusive safe space for all. Next image, please. Now, the mission is pretty simple. We want to focus on three major pillars: history, art, and community. It is through these three pillars Arlington will build our progress. Next image, please. Now, our organizational chart, our staffing, it's pretty unique, sort of like the Birmingham Museum of Art. We have some hits during COVID, but right now we are governed by a board of trustees, myself as director, Ms. Jermaine Robinson, she is administrative assistant, but she's part-time at SLOSS, and she's part-time with Arlington. Ms. Maya Webster, she's our museum coordinator, but she's on loan from the Department of, Mayor's Department. We have Chef Matthew Murphy, Senior Food Service Supervisor, Ms. LaPrincess Mosley, she's our administrative clerk, and our cousins, as I like to say, Department of Public Works. Now, I know that this graph looks like it's robust, but it really isn't. So the Department of Public Works, they supervise our illustrious Ms. LaShondra Brundage, and her team members are Mr. John Underwood, laborer, Ms. Nicolette Fowler, they're laborer. She's a laborer. Now, what's really cool about DPW and when they supervise their team, we couldn't do it without them. You know why? We have 6.5 acres of beautifully landscaped gardens that they, manicure or manage every day. Rain, cold, heat. We have popsicles for them, though. Yes, inside. But yes, and then we have Mr. Ira Glover. You see him as laborer at Arlington. Next image, please. Arlington, we are aligning with Mayor Wolfen's vision for Birmingham in three major ways. Investing in our people, community-centered events, art at Arlington. I'd like to pause for a moment just to thank you guys so much, Councilor Clark and Councilor Tate. I'm wearing my Yogi Dadas today, and thank you for coming out to supporting our very first Women's History Art Show. It was a great success, as you guys saw. Community Garden Initiative. Our garden is designed for a sensory garden for tours and field trips, and it doubles as a kitchen garden for Chef Matt. We know that the community loves to come and pick. You guys know that too. I know that, Councilor Smitherman, she's not here today, but we sort of had a little tussle over a watermelon a couple of years ago, just pointing at it. It wasn't ripe yet, but definitely we have. I know, it's funny. We did pick it, and it was fun. So, but we're growing now, and we have some good treats for you today. Chef made some. Oh, you have it already? Yes. It is infused olive oil, or there is yes, yes, and rosemary. And please come by at any time to get some. Health and Wellness Initiatives Partner Yoga Series at Arlington with Jamila Stroud and Simone Jackson. Juneteenth, culinary education on-site and outreach education opportunities for Birmingham City School students and other partners like Winona High School. Birmingham Public Library Summer Reading Program for K through 12 grade students and underserved adult women. So Chef Matt had an opportunity to create a nutritional binder for the students, the K-12, and also 50 nutritional dinners for the adult underserved women through a grant through the Birmingham Public Libraries. I know, it was so good too. We love to sample. Yes. It was a grant, and we wanted to do something very different, very hands-on this year, more demonstrations to our community through our garden and through the programs that we have at Arlington. Social action partnerships, Lifting as We Climb. I have the opportunity to teach virtual art classes once a month to boys 11 through 18 years of age. And number 2, honoring and elevating Birmingham's history, cultivating an intentional cultural space. Hosting progressive conversations and inclusivity like the Morgan Project or 1619 book discussions, which brought a really great crowd. Brothers Let's Talk, addressing mental health for men. Inclusive historical publications, having a unifying theme across all socials and prints. Brochures, a historical reflection booklet, new websites, branding, and initiatives for educators and tours and for the World Games. And number 3, supporting Birmingham small businesses. Local artists like Mr. Ronald McKeithen, who exhibited his work for our social justice Juneteenth event last year. Community organizations hosting monthly neighborhood meetings. Private events like Brenda Brown Bosom Buddies Pink Tie Garden Party. It was also a platform to discuss breast cancer awareness. Local vendors showcasing their goods and services for events like these, or private events like these. Next image, please. Now on this slide, we have 5 ways Arlington aligns with Mayor Whiffin's 2025 vision plan, which includes, number 1, reimagining the historic Arlington Park West End communities. We will engage the community by participating in community education programs, heritage tourism activities, and access to the facility for public meetings and other community events. Like Soul Food Saturdays, y'all remember those? Black History events, again like the 1619 book discussion. The Birmingham Civil Rights Institute Legacy Youth Leadership, along with Grace House Tours, Juneteenth celebration, historic markers at Arlington, monument memorializing the enslaved population that lived and worked at Arlington from the Alabama Historical Association. Now, number 2, honoring and elevating Birmingham's history. Arlington will work to inform and educate the historic Arlington Park, West End, and Illiton communities of the rich history that these neighborhoods hold in relation to the social, political, and economic history of Jefferson County and Birmingham. Number 3, investing in Birmingham students and young people. Arlington will continue to develop community education relationships with Birmingham City Schools through creating innovative, multimodal, and interdisciplinary curricula. Number 4, building a fairer, more equitable, and inclusive Birmingham. Arlington is partnering with Second Chance Lifesavers. It's a program for Birmingham youth to engage in intentional conversations and mentoring while at Jefferson County Youth Detention Center. We want to provide community service opportunities for students re-entering society from the juvenile system in Birmingham. And number 5, realizing Birmingham's full economic potential, thus supporting the goal of Birmingham becoming a destination city. Now, Arlington has increased in both attendance and revenue in fiscal year 2022 and 2023, and received local and national funding and donations. Next image, please. Here you will find the mission in motion. These are the principles mentioned in our mission and our commitment to Birmingham. We will reach these benchmarks and goals in order to engage the minds of the future, provide programs and partnerships to realize our commitment, and redefine our image and identity to embrace the surrounding community and reflect sustainable change. Next image, please. Now, I know you guys wanted to know about our direction. Since the beginning of 2022, we have been working to ensure Arlington as a unified brand to the public as a museum of the city of Birmingham and a community space. We have designed and printed new digital and print media that will be available to the public in time for the World Games 2022. Our official website is also under construction. We also have an official email that we will be using for booking inquiries, RSVPs, tours, and any other questions. I've been really excited to get to this portion. You guys wanted to know what was next. What are we doing? What's going on at Arlington? What's our upcoming programming? So, Murder Mystery Dinner and Tours. Oh yeah, Murder Mystery Dinner and Tours. So chef curates a dinner that pairs with the whodunit or who did it. And then it gives this group, our guests, an opportunity to engage with our collection in a very unique and different way. Now, I'm not going to say how, but they do have these instruments that kind of turn in and out. And one time they pointed at me. They said, where's the director? And all of those instruments turned in, I held them, turned in towards me. So I'm sort of a believer. Juneteenth at Arlington. It's coming up very soon. Yoga and meditation. Oh my gosh, it's such an opportunity for us to just breathe. Now, if you don't have a mat, we have those. And if you don't want a mat when you get there, we have a chair. It's called chair yoga. So I hope to see you guys. It's going to be Jamila and Simone.
Okay.
Yes. So I did chair yoga last year. I did it off and on for about a year, and I'm telling you, it's so good. It's healthy for you. We ask that you invite your constituents and the community. We'll have some delicious treats and some refreshing juices. Chill and Grill Father's Day event. That's going to be with Chef Matt. Now, I'm not going to tell y'all what Chief Sparks like on his burger. You just have to come out and see, okay? The return of Fish Fry Friday. So good. We hosted our visitors on Saturday with our Southern hospitality, and some of them had never had catfish before, so it was a treat. Yes. Partner yoga series, again, Just Breathe. We all need to do that. And I know that you guys are so just wondering how we're able to do all of this on our 2.5 staff. Well, this is just an appetizer, as it's just whetting your palate. There's so much more that we're doing. I appreciate the opportunity to share Arlington's vision, direction, and programming updates. Thank you so much. Are there any questions?
Well, we want to thank you for coming. Did you have any questions?
I like what y'all are doing. This is really good. You know, yoga. I need to really do some yoga and meditate. I think that's good for the community, especially, you know, in this where we are today. So people being able to meditate, align their chakras.
That's right.
And it's good to see that you guys hosted Ronald McKeithen. His artwork, very great artist, serving a life sentence in prisons. And want to give a shout out to the Alabama Appleseed, Carla Crowder and her team for working to get him released, you know, from a long extended prison. He wasn't slated to get out at all. And so even when he got out, his work traveled to the NFL, which was amazing. And then also you are working with Second Chance Lifesavers, and I know the ED very well, come on, Owens. So these people are very intentional about pouring in, you know, into those, to the young people and people to inspire them to, you know, be a change maker and be great and, you know what the direction that they need to be traveling in. So this is great. I like what you guys are doing. I'm definitely going to come by myself. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you again, Toby. I just wanted to ask you a little bit about your boards. I know you have two different boards, I guess almost similar to the SLOSS situation, where you have a city-related board and then you have
We have an association, which
association,
is
like a Friends
of
who are the caretakers or whatever.
Preservation and upkeep of the museum.
Okay.
And then we have a city board.
Okay.
We're governed by a city board.
And so you basically work for and with, you probably work for the city board, but you work with in tandem with
the Arlington
other board.
Historical Association.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, we'll just leave it at that. Okay.
Are there any questions?
I don't have any questions. You know, I've really enjoyed the programs I've been able to participate in, and, you know, I appreciate the intentional diversity and, you know, being thoughtful about, you know, making sure events are inclusive of, you know, racially diverse participants, you know, and so it's been a good, I've just enjoyed everything I've ever been to at Arlington, considering I didn't go for all of my life until recently. So, and thank you for what you're doing as a custodian there. And we want to support you any way that we can as the Parks, Rec, and Cultural Arts Committee. And I know one of us should be coming to your board meetings, and we will work that out very soon. Okay, so just bear with us on that. But yeah, we're here for you, and any way we can be supportive, you let us know.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Councilor Tate, for you both for your continued support.
Okay. I did have a couple of updates on behalf of the Park Board. The summer camps are starting next week on Monday, and there are several rec centers that will host these summer camps, and they run from June 13th to July 30th from 8 to 3, and there is aftercare available as needed. The locations are Inslee, McAlpine, Memorial, East Pinson Valley, Hawkins, and ML King. And we have certified teachers running the camps, so they're still, you know, teaching the standards. We have some help from the library system, the library, and also field trips. Lunch and snacks are provided, and space is limited, but there is still some space available. And if you're interested in getting someone enrolled you would just call either the rec center directly or the park board office, which is 205-254-2391. And this coming Saturday, June 11th, we'll have the 25th annual fishing rodeo in District 2. Is that Hunter's District?
Yeah.
Okay. At East Lake Park, and that's starting at 8 a.m. So just, get in the car, head over. No fishing permits are required. Just get a spot and start fishing. And it's going to be great fun. So those are the updates for the park board, and I think if there's nothing else to come before, I did check on the Pratt Park, and we didn't really have I don't think there's a clearly defined shovel-ready project to really consider right now. They're still working on stuff, so we didn't really take that up. So if that concludes our agenda for today, so thank you all for coming, and can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second. We're adjourned. Thank you.